Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Andre Segovia Show. This is a pre-recorded stream, so thank you for joining me as it premieres wherever it is that you're watching. Anywho, I should let you know that before I get going here, I do intend to clip apart the stream later on, since I'll be touching on various different subjects on this one. So let me give you a quick outline of what I intend to cover. I'm going to be talking about BlackBerry, the old BlackBerries, the BlackBerry 10 devices, not the Android powered devices, because I was tinkering with them and I wanted to share some insights for those of you that are still holding on to these devices and for why you might want to keep using them. Some tips and tricks along the way as well. Other stuff I'm going to be talking about are the various different platforms you can find me on. This respects to social media and also video platforms that I am constantly adding to, or I'm adding the show to make myself uncancelable. But that doesn't mean I won't be around the big platforms. I'm still there until I'm no longer welcome there. But more on that as we get there. And as I continue down this rabbit hole of talking tech and different platforms, I do want to highlight certain platforms. So I'm going to be giving like a brief overview of some of these highlights and how I behave on these. So if you find me around these places, you'll see how much I spend time on that or don't. But I'll chime in on that as we get to that point. And speaking of tech, I got to talk about power grids and what California is intending to do with their Green New Deal. So, since I'm going to be entering a phase of the show where it's basically Save California from itself, I'm going to be touching on Save California issues because of the absurdity of what's happening here. So, some of you might find it political. I'm just going to be stating the facts. So, all that and more on this stream of the Andre Segovia Show. But before I get going on anything else, you'll notice, if you haven't seen it before, a bit of a different setup when it comes to the studio, because yes, I have upgraded certain things in the studio, for which is why I took my time to come back in front of the camera here at the studio. And there's a purpose to all these shelves here. So I guess really quick, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this would be my published works thus far. So I have 2 novels in my romantic comedy series, The Many Misadventures of Enoch Bellagio, 2 versions of how you can get the Andre Segovia Show transcripts of the early days available as a hardcover or paperback. And next to that, flanking in and protecting these books is Roan. Roan is the plushy mascot of Shadow Warriors Project, an organization that I wholeheartedly support, and I give what I can when I can. I recommend you go check anything out about them at shadowwarriorsproject.org and see how you can help warriors in need. A bigger deal is this too, from well, what can I say? Ranger Candy Coffee Company named a roast after yours truly. The Andre Segovia Show roast available at rangercandycoffeecompany.com. That's a tongue twister. Try to say that 10 times fast. Not 5 times, 10 times. Use promo code Andre Segovia at checkout and you get free shipping. Available in whole bean and grounded. It's a medium roast. And due to that and celebration, I intend to be giving away a bag of coffee to winners across my socials. So stay tuned as you'll find out when and where I'll be advertising the giveaway, because I do intend to make it as widely available as possible. Okay, what else was it doing here? Oh yeah, showing you around. What you can't see because of the bit cut off is the Batman, I guess, highlights. I have absolute Batman down here, which is a big, large print. I don't want to move it right now because I have Legos in the way. But it's a beautiful comic. It's my favorite novel of all, The Long Halloween. So I'm proud to host it on my shelf. Over here, you might be able to see these color coded books. This is the entirety of the X-Band series, including the short novels or little stories that were, I guess, outside of the main storyline but interweaved anyway. So I have finished book 1. I started book 2, and I'm writing my own book and reading 2 other books at the same time. So I'm trying to do my best to cover as much as I can on all this. Okay, so so I have that going on. This is a very well, it was a limited edition, so it's a rarity now. This is a novel version of the Bible, so it doesn't have the chapters and verses as it normally does. I mean, so these are books as they're laid out. This is English Standard Version. I forget where I might have bought this from a long time ago, but now I have a place to post on the shelf and show it off. So over here, up here is trinkets of the Critic Corner. So the Critic Corner is it still lives on in Locals, so I'm going to show you what that is a little later on. So Locals, I basically was an amateur movie critic for a time. And these are behind this, I guess, marker is a collection of my reviews that I've done. My most important review being The Dark Knight, because yours truly was invited by Warner Brothers days before its official release in the United States and worldwide to be able to see it. I was part of the viral marketing campaign. As a reward, I got invited to this. I was able to invite some friends, so we were at Universal City Walk. I believe it was if the movie came out like around July 15 or 21, it was 2008. Okay, so July something. It was a Tuesday that I dropped my review. So the next time Warner Bros. Invited me, they made me sign an NDA because I didn't sign an NDA that one time. But I didn't spoil anything. I just said go check this movie out. But yeah, that was awesome times. And well, this is just a reminder of what all that is. And next to that is the Critical Drinker plushie with a removable beer bottle because this dude's always drunk, hence the Critical Drinker, right? So I'm considering adding Mahler. Mahler, oh my goodness, he did a complete breakdown of Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness. That's what it's called, right? I didn't see the movie. I don't care. But he did a 6-hour takedown of that film. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I listened to the whole thing through, not in one sitting, but yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked here because I don't have that much time either. So if you see me darting, I have multiple monitors in front of me, okay, and the main monitor is down here, so I'm producing this as we go along. So I want to bring into frame. Here we go. So my website. So as always, here's my website, and I want to quickly highlight that you can check out the blog because it's gone live, so I'm covering different things on my website. I may be moving more important articles over to locals now. They launched a feature regarding that, so I'm on Substack. But now that Rumble is allowing it for locals, I don't know how that works, but locals is now allowing for the article feature too. I might do so there. But when it comes to shopping, remember I mentioned coffee. These are the links where you can check out everything about me. I am an influencer on Amazon, so you can check out some of the gear that I use for coffee, the tech that I use, especially if you're considering starting your own podcast. And my locals community there, my link to get to Ranger County Coffee Company and Segovia is the promo code I check out. And my books also on over at Amazon. Some are available in Kindle, not the Under Segovia Show Transcript of the Yearly Days. That one is only. Maybe I will do a Kindle later, but for now, it's only available in print. So just FYI. Anyway, I think I covered a lot about just the show itself, and there's a reason I'm taking my time to kind of let you in about a lot of the work that goes into setting something up like this. Okay, because with a lot of the throttling, shadow banning, removal of content, even that's why I made my show available across as many platforms as possible last year. And I added several more platforms this year, including new ones. Some of which I'll highlight here. It's a very new platform with promising features that I do like and I enjoy. And I have been using actually, which you as a content creator, if you're looking into that, would appreciate. And the thing is, the reason I'm taking time to highlight this is because, well, it's some of my stuff has been demonetized. And in addition to that, when you have content removed or shadow banned and it could have gotten its traction, um, you lose revenue from that. Okay. And on the other platforms, I don't get the ability to get revenue. So, how to even the playing field and how to keep the lights on to be able to fund anything like this. First, I'm really proud that Ranger Candy was they accepted me as an affiliate, and they were the first ones. I do have other ones that I haven't pushed yet, but I also got picked up by Amazon to do a live creator thing. But for now, the influencer stuff is there. I wanted to highlight tech over on Amazon. I thought I had it here, but I guess it's over in the on the station section. So let me go over there real quick. So when the time comes, I will go do lives on Amazon. And when the time gets there, oh no, I'm sorry, that's on live streams because I intend to live stream there. So let me get over to live streams. Yeah. So yeah, I do Twitch on YouTube live streams every now and then. You makers the restreams, but over here where I do the lives, like on locals and Instagram, those are more, I guess, behind the scenes stuff. Locals is more personal in a way. Instagram, I just off the whim, coffee breaks that happen on either one of those. But product reviews and tech talk, I'm planning for Amazon Live. I was supposed to do it earlier this summer, but as those that know, I welcome my newborn And then I had to take my newborn to the neonatal intensive care unit. So it's been a whirlwind of a summer, and I have to keep pushing back Amazon Live. But once things get settled, hopefully in September, I'll be able to launch there to show you and highlight my tech and products that you can purchase there as well, because, well, it's benefited me. And if you're curious at all about what I use and what you can use, you'll be able to find it there. Now, not just to do content creation, but also to run and operate your business, because as small business owners, we don't have the funding to hire just anyone we want. And in the state of California, where they're constantly punishing small business and basically running us out of the state, well, you got to make ends meet somehow. You can't just move just yet, or you want to save your business. So the economies of scale might not allow you to grow in that respect to hire more personnel, but you can definitely leverage tech to make your life easier and work smarter, not harder. Anyway, on to the next one. I guess before I dive into the tech stuff, I wanted to highlight. No, you know what? Since I'm going to be going on this one, so I want to show you the platforms that I'm on with respect to social media, and I'm going to be jumping back over to the stations. And I'm overwhelming this thing. The stream is kind of slowing down, but come on, come on. It was already loaded, but I guess they had to reset. Okay, so uh, for for any of the social medias that I'm on, some of you are familiar with some of these links, but now you're going to see a bunch more than you ever seen. So far, what is that? It's a grid of 4 times 4. I'm on 16 platforms, and I believe there's more. But yeah, Instagram, Gab, Parler, LinkedIn, Frank Speech, Vero, Gilded, and I have a server there too on Gilded for the show. You can check it out if you want. You can also find the links here. Getter, Minds, Discord, Truth Social, Telegram. I have a Telegram group there as well. Floaty, that's the latest one. Line, I actually have an official The Segovia Show account now. Locals, which I already mentioned, and Twitter. That's I have a presence there, but I'm not active there. But groups that I have put on reserve, that will be in MeWe, Telegram, LinkedIn, and Gilded. Gilded is the server. I don't have it on Discord. I do have it on Gilded, so you can check those things out there. But while I'm on all of these, it's literally to have a presence. And thanks to tools like If This Then That, If TTT, I would not be able to do all of this. But I do all of this to show, hey, you don't have to stay on one platform. And look, I get it. A lot of people are conditioned to be just on one, but even if they're on Instagram, they'll be like on TikTok and share to Instagram, or they'll be on Twitter and share to Instagram, or they'll be on Snapchat and share all around, and maybe even share to Facebook, because even if they don't use Facebook, they have a Facebook, especially if you have an Instagram. And with notice that I'm not on Facebook. I left that behind a long time ago. Because I know Instagram is part of Facebook. That's another story. So, but anyway, with all this, is to say that, hey, look, I'm in favor of being on as many platforms as possible. I don't believe that you should just make an island and stay there. There are those across any of these platforms that do behave in that way, where they don't move from anywhere. Well, if you're trying to be an influencer and trying to spread the news, or just talk about your opinions and whatever, but you are preaching to the choir, if that's the kind of interaction you want, hey, more power to you. Stay on your island. But if you want to stick it to big tech, uh, put your information on as many platforms as possible and advertise other platforms on those other platforms. Because once you're gone from that place and you had a following, say, hey, where'd that person go? Oh, they're over here, and they'll move over there. And that's what's happened with me on Instagram, where I've had some of my stuff taken down. Nothing egregious, but still, like, seriously, you're taking that down? And now it's like, oh, you took that down. Now you're saying you can talk about it? You guys are idiots. But whatever. The big tech's in the big tech. The thing is that people have discovered these other platforms because of yours truly. And that is the whole point. Yes, being banned can be taken as a badge of honor nowadays, but I'm not striving to be banned. I'm striving to interact. That's why I'm across all these platforms, at least to have a presence. That doesn't mean I can be active on all of them, but I take my time to highlight all these, because there are other things out there, folks, and you don't want to put all your chips in one basket, or all your eggs in one basket, because you could lose everything. And sometimes it takes time. Cross platform, not everything has an app, but sometimes you don't need an app. And in the case of my behavior, Instagram is the main one that I'm on, but I'm sure I already opened these pages. I guess I'm overloading the um the system here. Sorry about that. I already preloaded these pages, but they're having to load again. So let me get the other one loading as I'm about to open it. But Parlor and Gab are the two places where I spend the most time sharing my thoughts and just giving various information to folks, just highlighting my content and this and that. So I'm going to be coming back to this because there's an article here I'm going to be covering later on as I enter tech. But Parler is the main one, along with Gab. Gab, basically, I pay for Gab, so obviously I'm going to be using Gab a lot more. And the feature-rich set and, in a way, community that Gab sets up makes me spend more time there. And again, I preloaded these pages. This is just killing it for me when it comes to time. So here is, I might not have the most followers here. I definitely have among the most engagement, second only to Instagram. So I'm not being followed by bots. I'm being followed by real people, and I appreciate that. And this is where I'm highlighting, of course. And this is I've made great relationships here. One of them being Ranger County Coffee Company, and I'm happy about that. And I met other influencers with tens of thousands of followers that took notice on me, and we interact, we talk, and in some cases, some of them have been on my show. So I'll never knock that, and I appreciate that. And I also have a channel here where it drives the most traffic to my show. So I think YouTube fell to second or third place now, and I'm getting a lot more traffic on Gap. So that's why I'm among these places. But these two, I guess you could say, political hot takes is what I do here, along with Instagram stories. But Instagram is still more behind the scenes. Locals is more like the stuff that will get me canceled by these big tech platforms. So I put it in a place where they can't control it. But when it comes to socializing, 'cause I do want to social. Earlier this year, I did join Vero, and I gotta tell you, I am enjoying Vero. It doesn't show that I have that many followers because they don't count it in that way. I actually have um close followers. So close followers do not appear on this count. It'll show what I'm following. So it's a relatively new place. There's at least for me, there's no algorithm here except the one that you make. And quite honestly, I'm having a lot of fun here, just being able to highlight things like this. And I put my show in here every now and then, but I get to talk about my books, my movies that I love, and just just generally have fun like Instagram used to be. So if you enjoy Instagram, believe me, being over here will be even better. And photography, it's just a lot of great photography here. So I do encourage it. I have others that have jumped on this and are looking to jump on this because they're loving what I'm highlighting here. And like I said, it doesn't show that I have, oh, you only have 2 followers. No, I have more. But there are 4 levels of followers here. Public followers, 2. There's a little, I guess, the inner circle, if you will. Like, okay, my account's private kind of thing, and only talking to the select few. That will not fit in your follower account, and I do have some of those. So that's why they don't appear here on the count. But anyway, so this app is available across multiple platforms: iOS, Android, and Microsoft, Windows and Mac OS. So it's not just relegated to you. I don't think you could use it on the web. So it is all app based, and I really do enjoy this. This is a link. This is a movies that you can highlight there, and you'll be able to talk about it. It's I love that interaction that I miss from the good old days of Facebook and Instagram before everything went to hell with politics and all that. So I do encourage people to check these things out. Because hey, why not? So I don't really chime in on politics here. I'm trying to have fun, but every now and then I highlight my stuff. So yeah, and that's that. Notice that I am verified. I highlighted these because I am verified across at least these platforms. I'm verified across other platforms too. And that's what I'm trying to drive home to a lot of you, because I'm not verified on Instagram. I did apply. They turned me down because minimal requirements, even though supposedly I met them. I did apply to Getter. They haven't responded yet, but I might have to reapply again. I don't know how that whole thing works. Twitter, forget it. I'm not even going to bother. But I am verified across other platforms. There is a process to get there. So I am proud of those badges. So you find my profile across other platforms, odds are I am verified. And yes, that is yours truly. But when in doubt, you can always ask me. One of the things that I think is the biggest deal is about tracking. Okay. Parler was getting some bad rap because after they came back and started applying some censorship according to the criteria like the Apple App Store. So let me just quickly highlight Parler here. So to some folks, it's like, oh, you guys bent the knee to big tech. And there's some tracking that goes on with Parler. Up until recently, it was assumed they were going to appear on the Google Play Store, and when it looks like that didn't work out, they actually changed the logo to just download on Android here because, of course, you can circumvent that. And honestly, I prefer that over just going to the Play Store because you can make an uncensorable app, as it should be, if you're going to be highlighting free speech, just directly available through you, not through what's their faces on the Play Stores. So some did take issue with that, not as egregious as say Getter and even Truth Social, because Truth Social, they're trying to keep a family-friendly environment. In the case of Getter, they just don't want to welcome certain people there. So they immediately, as soon as certain individuals signed up, even people I don't like that signed up and they were booted off without reason almost immediately. I'm like, well, that's not very welcoming. So I didn't appreciate that. I'd never experienced that with Parlor, and I'm still there even after the deplatforming. I When they reopened, I immediately jumped back in there, and I haven't left. In fact, I even signed up to be a Parler ambassador. I'm actually part of the Discord team in testing the Android app for this. I'm beta testing 4.0.89, something like that, whereas I am also testing the one on iOS before it's ready for prime time. So I've done this before where I tested applications before they were available. For those of you using WhatsApp, you're welcome. Way back in the day with BlackBerry, I was part of that beta team to make sure it was all up and running. But this is a great segue into what I was talking about and wanted to highlight. And now it's going to reload this page too. I guess I am using a lot of system resources. I'm going to make sure this is paused, or else this stream's going to be hit on what you may call it, on YouTube. So if this thing ever loads, holy smokes. So I guess I'll start highlighting some of these things. Here we go. This is a scene from Minority Report, and it's honestly my favorite scene. This movie came out in 2002. So that's 20 years ago now. So this is before the reign of smartphones and things like that. Reason I'm highlighting this because in this moment, for those of you that haven't seen the movie, Minority Report is basically pre-crime division. So they arrest you before you can commit a crime, even within hours of you doing an unpremeditated crime. But if you premeditate a crime, it gives the officials that much more lead time to be able to arrest you. This was the first collaboration between Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg. That's what it was, a pretty big deal. I enjoyed the movie. I think it's aged fantastically ever since. But in this particular moment, not a spoiler or anything because they show it in the trailers. But if you haven't seen it, I mean, 20-year spoiler alert. Come on. But in this moment, uh, uh, Tom Cruise's character John Anderton, uh, he is going through the pre-crime cases, and it looks like he himself is going to commit a crime. And because there's a lot of lead time leading to that, he has a chance to try to clear his name. And he has to look for what's called a minority report, an alternative prediction to the outcome of the event. In other words, maybe he won't commit the crime, but because they're relying on three psychics called precogs that are never wrong, supposedly, the three links of these siblings that are in this water chamber, they always predict these things that are going to happen. And well, they've never been wrong, but how come they never been wrong if you never let the crime kind of play out? So it brought up a lot of moral questions in this. Great performances all around. I think it's great. It's not an action movie, honestly. I think there's only three major action set pieces that maybe total of 10 minutes total for a 2-hour movie. So it's more of a thriller than it is an action movie, but it was billed as an action movie. Now, the reason I highlight this moment because this is the future around the year 2050 supposedly, and these are electric vehicles on electric freeways in Washington D.C. Let me just do an outer shot here. Okay, so they're on a highway here, being electric. Okay, and in this moment, this is where Tom Cruise's character is talking to one of the higher ups, saying that, look, someone set me up, and I need to clear my name. And then the senior here, Lamar, his name's like, you can't run. It's like, well, everybody runs. The scary moment is when his vehicle is then, because electric, is then switched from escaping to being rerouted back to the office because now the police got wind that one of their own is on the run. So his vehicle is being sent back, and this being an action movie, of course, he doesn't go back because he runs. But how does he do it? That was the thing. This is 20 years ago, folks, that tech that will be so automated in the future, you're not even driving in these capsules like vehicles on electric freeways that Tesla's also been testing. EVs were being tested with like these metal posts down the spikes into different highways, even in Southern California. I think it was San Diego. This experiment went on several years ago. I saw it on Road and Track magazine or Car and Driver magazine to test self-driving vehicles that were electric. But Tesla, Starlink, and all that stuff, this is the future that they've been trying to get to here as a government, and in particular California, because they're banning by 2035 any new vehicles that are internal combustion engines. They all have to be electric vehicles. We have a ballot and a proposition. I forget the name of the proposition that will be on the ballot for California in this midterm election, 2022, general election is also called, that will allow Lyft to collect via a tax the funds to be able to turn their entire fleet into EVs for their drivers. Because the state of California was mandating that companies like Lyft and Uber provide EV to their employees, but they don't want to shell out the money, so they want to pass in the form of a tax that they want the public to then approve for them to get, I guess, not compensated, but to at least relieve that. In other words, passing the cost onto the consumer, whether or not you use Lyft or Uber. So for all this is to say, this is all about tracing. This is all about control. Electric vehicles. I love technology. I want to see a Tesla succeed. But as me, as a vehicle enthusiast, my original goal after high school was to become an automotive engineer. I love the physics of it. I like making things go boom and zoom. And here's the thing, I kind of forgot that until James Mangold did a movie I didn't even know I needed to see. Ford versus Ferrari, starring Christian Bale and Matt Damon. And it awoken within me the driver that was trapped in. He was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about the joy of driving. So then I told my wife, honey, this is how I used to drive. So I took her on my Audi A5, switched to manual mode, and I was just freaking her out. It's like, I never seen you drive this. This is how I used to drive. It's just it rekindled that joy of man and machine. Was the first marriage that I had. Me to my car. You don't get that with an EV. That's why, like, I don't want the car to drive for me. I want to drive the car. But when you're in California, everything's traffic and it's bumper to bumper. It sucks the joy out of driving. When you're driving 4 or 5 hours just to get home sometimes, which has been the case for yours truly, coming from the valley over to North Orange County, it's been insane. So it really sucks the joy out of it. So yeah, you want a car to drive for you. Like, I want to sleep on the way home. That's not what I want. I want to go to the open roads. I want to go to the proven grounds and drive these vehicles. Man, hey, if I die on a proven grounds because I was driving at 200 plus miles per hour, at least I died doing what I love. That's what I told my wife. She hates it when I say that, but it's also true. Still, that also means freedom. And no, you can't have that. California this year outlawed or banned single family zoning because it's racist, because it was established in Berkeley in 1915 or whatever it is to segregate, which is not true, but they're rewriting history and they're saying all these things. The California associations kind of pushed this into happening. So now every single family zoning can have up to 4 units. So basically, they're trying to create or implement their Agenda 2030 or Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2035 to have condensed population living to get people to get off this having multiple cars, because they're going to make it so inconvenient with so much limited parking. They say you can't have your 3 cars anymore, or 4, or whatever it is you have, or maybe even 2. You only have 1 parking space. Look, you have no parking space. Use mass transit. That's just down the road. Yeah, but I have to walk and carry all these groceries. I just get these that you need, or get DoorDash to bring it to you, or Uber Eats, or things like that. Wait, what? And say, no, I can do it. I don't want a society that looks like freaking Wall-E, But that's where they're going with this. And why I bring this up? Because I mentioned California is doing this, where not only is it California, where the intent to ban a combustion engines by 2035, but by 2030, California cannot have gas-powered yard equipment. Why does Gavin Newsom hate jardineros? They just do. And some of the jardineros are going to find out the hard way because they're not paying attention to any of this. I don't want to show commercials here. But anyway, California's ban on gas-powered vehicles by 2035. Guess what? This also somehow, some way applies to Virginia and Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin came out and said, we're going to postpone that. So yeah, it's been pretty nuts. But the whole intent, like you're seeing in Europe, if you haven't checked out Europe, you got to see what's going on in Europe. Okay, because oh, we got to have smart thermostats. Why? So you can take over. Do you remember what happened during the lockdown? During the lockdown, when we all went to lockdown, everybody was glued to their TVs or their phones or their iPads or whatever to stream services because, well, what else can you do? It strained the streaming network, especially you had a smart home where you have cameras set up. So, what happened if you had a 4K camera or even an HD camera, which meant to 80p? The in the case of Google, Amazon, and them, they overrode your settings and dropped into like 480 at most 720 for your settings. And if you forgot to switch it back once the streaming was able to handle the traffic again, then you would have been none the wiser. They did it for you. Now imagine you have a smart thermostat or you have smart door locks that they can then unlock whenever they want. Search warrant. I'll just come over here, like Google, open this for me. It's like, wait, huh? That's what we're coming to, folks. Smart thermostat. You know what? The grid is overloaded. I know we said we were going to get rid of fossil fuels, and we did. We got rid of natural gas, which some people consider a fossil fuel. So we got rid of that because we want to go to renewable energies with these windmills that kill birds, and with solar panels that don't work at night because there's no sun, duh. And because we wanted everything from your cooking stovetop to your vehicles to the phones that you use that sometimes use more electricity over the phone's life than a freaking refrigerator. We took all that and made it all electrical. And because we turned off hydroelectric dams, nuclear powered plants, and also any coal burning thing to be able to fuel these things, we overloaded the grid. So we need you to raise your thermostats when it's 110 degrees outside to 78, which you'll be all right. You know what? Don't even use it during the day. Make sure you're wearing light colored shirts, maybe white at all. But wait, but isn't white racist? Whatever. But use white colored shirts. Keep cool, stay hydrated, and that's how you beat the heat. Hold on, that's Europe and California. This is August 30, 2022. Excessive heat starting tomorrow will stress energy grid. What? Starting tomorrow through Tuesday, California and the West are expecting extreme heat that is likely to strain the grid with increased energy demands, especially over the holiday weekend, meaning Labor Day. Temperatures are forecast to begin rising August 31st, intensifying through the holiday weekend and extending to early next week in many areas of the West. Temperatures are forecasted to hit triple digits and break records in what is likely to be the most extensive heat wave in the West so far this year. The ISO is making measures to bring all available resources online. Restricted maintenance operations have been issued through Wednesday, August 31st, for August 31st through September 6th, each day due to high lows and temperatures across the state. During the REMO, market participants are ordered to avoid scheduled maintenance to ensure all available generation and transition lines are in service. Where is it? During Flex Alert, consumers are urged to reduce energy use from 4 to 9 when the system is most stressed because demand for electricity remains high and there is less solar energy available. Never mind that we are on daylight savings time. On the top 3 conservation actions are set thermostats to 78 degrees or higher. Oh, tell me 80 degrees is cooling you. Avoid using large appliances and charging electric vehicles. And turn off unnecessary lights, lowering electricity use during that time that will ease strain on the system and prevent more drastic measures, including rotating power outages. Have you ever been to a developed country or a third world country? Because yours truly has. My country of El Salvador was a developing country. It is much better now than it used to be when I was a kid growing up. Blackouts were a thing all the time. Lightning strikes. Boop, there were all the transformers of the entire town. Now they have a way more reliable system than California, which is supposed to be in the forefront of everything. This is what they want for you, to control more of you. And they're doing it through tech, which sounds great all the time, which is why I brought these guys out, BlackBerry. Because I know there's a lot of you that are still holding on to BlackBerry because some might say you're wearing a tinfoil hat. I am not wearing a tinfoil hat, folks. But there are some that they're quite up there in the fringe. Okay, I'm not gonna defend that. All right, I'm gonna remove this thing so you could just see my ugly mug. Okay, so I want to highlight certain things because for those of you still holding on to a BlackBerry or you have a like Calyx OS or other type of Android open source operating system that doesn't use Google services on it, uh, you have, oh my goodness, it's annoying. You still have options, and for some people, that's why they hold on to the BlackBerry. But because BlackBerry reached the end of life earlier this year, a lot of the services on BlackBerry don't work anymore. For some people, it's like, how do I unlock my phone when BlackBerry ID doesn't work anymore? That there is a workaround, and I wish I could tell you how I fixed mine, but it was a lot of trial and error. I did use the Crackberry forums, and I think XDA developers helped a little bit in figuring this out. I don't remember. There was one more forum in which I found, I think it was Reddit, where I found more information as to fix it. So for those of you that are interested, whether you're watching this stream or when it's reclipped later on, by all means, comment section down below. Let me know. And if by the time I clip this out, if I find the resources, they will be in the video description down below. But until then, I want to highlight BlackBerry Q10. It took me a while to actually showcase all these because I had to repair the screen on it. So I replaced the screen myself. Woohoo! I can still fix these. BlackBerry Classic. Never got a chance to really use this thing. I really like it. I miss it. BlackBerry Z30 or Z30, depending on what side of the Canadian border you're on. AMOLED display, big battery. Love this guy. My precious. The whole shutting down of the system actually worked in my favor. The Porsche P9983, is it? Porsche design, carbon fiber backing. I think it's titanium, and this thing's a beauty. I wish I could use it on the Verizon network. I can't, but some say there's a workaround. We'll see. And my favorite of all, the Z10. Horrible battery life. Love the color. I can't believe this used to be big back in the day. This thing is so tiny, so tiny. Okay, so why did I bring these devices out that honestly you can't even see? But the reason I bring them out is because even though you cannot actually use the BlackBerry services anymore, it means you can still phone call and text. This is still an Android 4.3 device. There are tool sets that you can use, and I recommend for those of you that still have the links for Cobalt's Play Store, you probably won't be able to get that thing to work anymore. But if you can get the mobile network app, an APK that he released, and I'll make that one available because I still have that too. I have all those APKs, by the way. And so for those of you interested, drop me a comment down below, and I'll think about posting it somewhere, maybe on Mega. When you get the mobile network APK, it isn't so much about being able to control the mobile network on the Android side of the settings. Here's the thing, that you're not able to use Bluetooth on Android. Doesn't matter how many times you change the settings on the settings menu for your BlackBerry device. If you cannot get to the actual settings menu within Android, you cannot activate Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So let me pull this one up. It's called, I guess I have someone at Outpost. So this is called mobile network on the APK, but there's a more Android settings feature to it. Okay. And once that happens, and I'm going to try to bring this up, and I know it's a bit bright, so I'll try to show this off. So now, without the glare, you'll be able to have more control, including Bluetooth. So Bluetooth is off, you could turn it on. This is how you're able to get, say, certain applications that don't connect to your Bluetooth device to work. Like music, streaming services and all that. And how do you get Android apps to even work on this when you don't even know which Android app works? Here's the thing. Some Android apps require Marshmallow 6.0 Android version and above to work. Other Android versions, I think, are at 7 or 8. So I think 8 was, which one's Oreo? Was Oreo Android 8? I think it is. Android Oreo was 8.0. So that one and above. So as we continuously, advance the technology, eventually those other apps will stop working. So some Android apps don't even work anymore. The place that I decided to go to try things out, and it was able to work for me, was APK Pure. APK Pure, and I'm not trying to endorse them per se, but this is the place where I've been able to rely upon for being able to filter out applications that work based on operating systems, because this is Android 4.3. Was that still Lollipop? Because KitKat was 4.4. No, Lollipop was 5.0. I hated that one. I forget what 4.3 was, but 4.4 and above, sorry, none of those apps will work on this. But you can get applications through APK Gold. APK Pure or APK Gold? It might be all of it. That's where I was able to get it, because you're able to install app stores like Aptoid, F-Droid, and I couldn't get Aurora to work. But let me pull up what I do have going on here. The Amazon App Store is the main one that I have, and I'll show you here. So I know there's a lot of glare. So I have the F Droid, but the version from Aurora. Also have F Droid and the Amazon App Store. And the Amazon App Store gives you Amazon services. But here's the trippy thing. I guess it depends on the device, whether it's like a square ratio display or a full screen display. You will not get all the same apps available. Like for example, uh, on my Z10, I'm able to get Dropbox on Amazon and Spotify, but I can't get it on the other one. So I have to go around and just go to like download the APK somewhere for the one that will work on these devices. And I'll tell you really quickly which software versions of BlackBerry 10 I'm using on these, because generally speaking, for at least the Q10, I'm running 10.3.3.2137. And I think that goes the same for my Z30. 21.37, and the same for my Classic. Where it changes are for the Porsche design and for the Z10. For the Porsche design, I'm using an older one. No, uh, a newer one. 10.3.3.3216. That was the one that I was able to use. If you're going to find an autoloader, use that one to be able to go around the whole BlackBerry ID issue, because this one had the factory reset protection, so I wasn't able to go through it. But with this software version, I was finally able to break in and not have to worry about that anymore, because how am I able to access it if the servers are down? That's how I was able to circumvent it with 0.3216 version. When it comes to the Z10, this is the only one of all of them that I can still use the Google Play Store. So I do have, and I'm going to show you this one. There's going to be some glare again, but I have the Google Play Store. Let me tilt it a little more. So the Google Play Store, and I have F-Droid. I can't update F-Droid anymore because it won't work. Some apps would install and they won't work. I do have Instagram Lite running on some of these, or even the older Instagram app that will work for older models, and they work. So for me, with the Google Play Store, at least this one has Google Play services. Technically, you can still try to work around the other ones, but it's really hit or miss. And I found that anything using a different software version than the one I'm running here, which is two 10.3.3.2129, I have no success with the Play Store. It just crashes. But for that one, it works. Go figure. Don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Excuse me. So let me see. What else am I having here? So the things that I have Skype, I have WhatsApp, I have Line Lite, I have Instagram Lite running on the Z10, which will apply the same for the Classic, the Q10, and the Porsche design. The Z10 is able to manage them better because it has the stronger processor. They have the same memory, but the stronger processor does make a difference in loading all these. And I still use Black. It's a Twitter thingy that I have for the longest time, and that one still works for the most part. When it comes to media, Spotify, TuneIn Radio. What else do I have? This big VLC player. It works here. And I have TuneIn Radio Pro. That one's actually from the Amazon App Store because I bought it. And believe it or not, I still have Apollo. Apollo's from the back in the WebOS days. That's what I use for Pandora. But I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi, so I can't play it here. So I have those apps running on these things, and I also have K9 for email. So I'm able to get it to work here on the BlackBerry Classic. So you can get mileage out of this, and you don't have to use the light apps. I have Waze running on this for GPS. I have Here We Go. Your mileage will vary on that one, honestly. I have Google Duo and Telegram here. The official Twitter app, just got to find the right one that works for you. Again, WhatsApp. I have all these running on these devices. So you can see the logos, they're kind of. So what I'm saying, you can still get life out of your BlackBerry if you so choose to. It is a pain, but the fastest way that I was able to do it is just go to the browser and use APK Pure. I think it's APK Gold Pure, stuff like that. Or not just that. There's APK Mirror, up to down. You can download the app stores. They are just not going to work for some reason. It'll never connect. I think the server side were turned off for those versions of the apps. So it will never connect to their Wi-Fi, to their server, even though your Wi-Fi is on. Nothing is wrong with your phone. Everything is wrong with the server side. So you will get that happening with certain apps that you use. But what I do is I put it on an SD card. I just download them all through the browser on my computer, offload them to a SD card. I put them into this device, and then one by one, just install them. It's the easiest thing. It still takes some time, but it's considerably faster than trying to download through a browser on your phone. So for browsers on this one, I actually have a few. I use the BlackBerry browser still for the most part work. I have the Android browser. I don't think I have this one to show you. Hold on. I think I have this Firefox. So I have Firefox on this one. I have the Work Wide app also, Evolution browser. These are going to be bar files now because the App Store is closed. And these are not all my Blackberries. I have the BlackBerry Key One, which is Android, so still works. And unfortunately, the BlackBerry Playbook, God rest its soul, it bricked itself. It just like gave up the ghost and say, "I'm done. I'm not turning on anymore." So it just stays forever on the boot screen for days until the battery dies out. If at least it feels like days. And that's done with that. But as for these, they still have life within them. And with everything except the Porsche design, I can't use it on Verizon. If the Z10 had better battery life, I would be using this one more. Look, the camera sucks on all of them, right? But at least you're able to use it. The classic was the one I was never able to use. This device is absolutely gorgeous. I love the heft. The keyboard is just buttery. Oh, I missed that. But for on screen, if you're still able to get a Z30, that's a tough one to find. Battery life after all these years, battery still holding strong. So I think that's really cool. But with respects to my little tips and tricks there on being able to just ignore the BlackBerry ID part, use software, an autoloader. You can still get them through crackberry.com and even Reddit if you're able to scour through them, ending in 3216. No, that's this one. It's on 3216. That's how you're able to bypass the lock if you have the factory reset protection, like the anti-theft protection. That's the one that's gonna give you the hardest time. That's the one to be able to break through. So yeah, it worked out for me. Something to do with also the having the device do the accessibility voice prompts for the visually impaired. That somehow works. It didn't work for me, but it I just skipped on through on it. I got through. So go figure. Your mileage will vary. But as for me, if you're able to downgrade, it's really hard to find the older autoloaders. I wasn't able to find them, but are you able to find the 2129 release? You might get a much better Android experience above all. The downside, because the initial BlackBerry 10 um uh processor, it does take a lot longer to load. But like I said, Spotify. Let me see what else. For those are for the socials. So once again, Line Light or just Line in general, Skype, Twitter, WhatsApp, Google Duo, Telegram, uh, Twitter, and I still have Black. So that's a bar file. You can't unless you have the bar file. You can't install it because of the Play Store. Uh, I do have the Play Store installed here, but I don't have it activated. Instagram Lite. For media, I use Spotify, VLC, Blaze TV, TuneIn Radio, Apollo. Um, let's see. For I have Office Mobile, so that one works for my Office documents. And I don't. Oh, this one's on Wi-Fi, so maybe I can show it off. For browser, for Android browser, Firefox being one of them, and I'm booting up Microsoft. Oh wait, it turned on. Uh, okay. By the way, in the recut, I'll just cut for time here. Um, but I'm happily loading OneDrive. You can see it, the whole thing is bright. Yeah, it's too bright. But I'm loading OneDrive uh, on my BlackBerry here. So like I said, you can still get life out of it. Firefox for the browser, and for the mapping stuff, you can. I even have WordPress in here. Amazon Shopping, because there's some apps that still work. Google Translate, that one works on this too. Several games, some that are Android based, other ones that I had from that were bar files. I can't really distinguish one from the other right now. Bible app that works, and yeah, I haven't tried anything else 'cause I don't need it. But K9 for your email, because Why not? So there are ways to still get your some mileage out of your BlackBerry. So I recommend that if you can, you do so. Well, I'm running up on time here, so for those of you still watching, I greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to be capping it off here with the various different platforms that I'm on. So the main platform that I use for off the record, which used to be on YouTube, but after the whole January 6th fiasco, 2021, some videos were taken down, and I'm highlighting that because I'm going to be talking about two platforms specifically. One's called Corridor TV, which is the newer platform, and the results have been pretty impressive there for a brand new platform, video platform. And another one being the one that's been on the news a lot, Rumble, the number one competitor to YouTube, supposedly. I'm on Odyssey. Let me show you the stations that I'm on. You can actually watch my show on LinkedIn. Every now and then I'll live stream there. Gap TV, the biggest one that I have. Odyssey, I am on Odyssey. I've been on Odyssey. My entire library is actually backed up there, and the new episodes also debut there as well. UMaker, where I have a lot of traction there too. BitChute, just some activity there. Rumble, which we'll talk about. I'm on Twitch, DLive for now. Corridor TV, Spotify, because I sometimes upload the video version of the episodes, not just the podcast. Substack, I have the entirety of WordPress backed up to Substack, and the new episodes going up there too. And of course, YouTube. Then I have a plethora of these podcast distributors and directories that you can check out, including obscure ones that you never heard of, or just download directly through your choice by clicking the Android avatar there. So I'm across all of these, and I'm constantly looking for more. There's one more that I'm considering applying for, but I'm not quite there yet. But definitely considering it, and I'll see how things turn out. If they pick me up, great. I did apply for somewhere else. They said they were going to accept me. They never called me back, so I reached out to them again. I haven't heard from them, so I'm like, okay, fine. I won't even bring it up. But Locals is definitely the place where Off the Record lives. Off the record being the stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube because, well, YouTube just flag it. So this is the place where I can control all of that. And you can also check out stuff that I can be more personable on, including some life updates that were just exclusive to my locals community, and share things there. I even do exclusive shows with other co-hosts here. And if you like my work, you can support it here too by becoming a member or just tipping. So that's what it's for. And I appreciate you all if you would just check it out. It's free to sign up. So, and most of my content's free anyway. And you can just sign up, check it out, and I'll be doing a promo code later on so you can get access to all the features and live streams that I do there. Corridor TV, in the few minutes that I have left. This is a newer platform, and I am shocked at how much traction I've been getting here because of the way the SEOs work. So this is, I don't have many videos here just yet, but the mere fact that I'm getting a lot of views from a generally new platform, and my number one video being my local broker reacts to the Lionel Hutz realtor thing, real estate thing, is pretty awesome. I have nearly 1,100 views there, making it one of the top videos on this platform. This thing wasn't even showing you. Hold on. You weren't seeing what I was seeing. So for the recut, I'll overlay some of this, okay? All right, so this is Corridor TV. My bad, folks. It wasn't showing to you. I got a little carried away. A few minutes I have left. So this is Corridor TV, and I'll talk about the live streams here. So I'm not going to recap all that, but this is what it looks like. That's pretty plain for the most part. But it's pretty fluid for this newer platform. They are an offshoot of Josh Wu something, I forget. But anyway, I'm one of the number one most viewed videos here, so that's pretty cool. And I definitely would recommend you check this out. But like I said, you're a content creator. I'm not logged in here, so I can't show you the whole live stream feature and how you're able to simulcast to other places. Is really, really awesome, and I recommend that. So there's still some bugs to work out in the program, so you can check that out if you so like to. Okay. The other platform that I'm on is Rumble. Rumble has been in the news a lot because they overtook it. I think they were number one app on the Apple App Store. And I'm a little confused as to how this stuff all works now. And I reached out to Rumble multiple times. And this is what I love about Rumble is that you have an alternative place to be able to take your stuff. And I'm able to just send my YouTube content over here, which is pretty cool. You can live stream if you so want to, if you want to just make Rumble your home. I know people that have, and good for them. The thing I don't like about Rumble is that it's absolutely confusing, because when you type in channels and you type in Segovia, Segovia, you'll get this channel, but there's also a user channel. And that's what I don't get, because the user channel is yours truly, And this one shows that I have 18 subscribers, but I have 78 more subscribers on my user channel. It doesn't even pull up on the searches. And it's these same videos. But when you send notifications out when you get a new video, it's not going to my 76 um, subscribers who probably think I don't even post anymore. It goes to the 18 that are subscribed here. Like, what the heck? How do I get them all to communicate? So I've been having an issue with Rumble in that when I started here, it was it was awesome. I had so much traction, and then it stopped. They demonetized my number one videos at the time, and then it looked like they throttled my channel entirely. I even made a comment about this, or I even showed it on Instagram. And I keep reaching out to them, and they're showing their hand as what's been happening in the month of August that they only prefer the big time content creators. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that because then what's the point? Just like YouTube, it's stepping on the little guy. That's why all the other platforms I'm experiencing some growth when there's no one controlling the algorithm or pushing you to check out what they want you to check out. And Rumble's kind of doing that, just like all these other platforms that, hey, welcome to new so and so. They're here. It's like, yeah, but you don't highlight everybody else that's coming on. You just want us to highlight that you got this other person that got banned from Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and you're trying to highlight them there. So that I don't like. I like the integration that they have with locals because you can just immediately join my community on locals, which you hit there. It should take you to my locals, which is pretty cool. But I don't like that. 3 views, 2 views. What happened to my 100 plus views that I was getting per video? It's it is disheartening, but that's why I don't spend all my energies here. At least not anymore. YouTube sends it to Rumble because Rumble has a mirroring service, like kind of like Odyssey. Just that Odyssey brings your entire library. Rumble won't. But that's one thing I haven't liked. One of my main criticisms there is that Rumble is not small content creator friendly. They claim to be free speech. They weren't behaving that way when I was covering the January 6th so-called insurrection. But that's whatever. That's what it is. But these are the two places I'm highlighting because you get these two extremes where you think, oh, the grass is greener over here. It may or may not be for you. But hey, I would still say check them out. That's why I'm across as many as possible. So that's where I'll leave it, folks. If you're interested in checking out all my stuff, theinterestingsegovia.com is where you can find anything and everything about me. If you're interested in checking out some of the products that I have up for sale, which is my own books or now my own roast of coffee, all the links for shopping are available here, including my tech gear, locals, supporting me through a subscription on Anchor, or checking out my coffee gear. More affiliates will be coming, and there's tools that I use that I've talked about before, but they're not sponsors at all. Like ExpressVPN, they say I didn't talk about them much, or Built Bar. That's why they didn't pick me up as ambassadors. Like, dude, I talk about you guys all the time. But anyway, whatever. But these two down here are Shadow Warriors Project and Mission Aviation Fellowship. These are charities. There's no kickbacks, no referral thingies here. This just organizations that I believe that are doing the God's work. So by all means, check out these links and find out where you can learn more about those organizations and support them should you so choose to. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so very much. Follow me across socials wherever you so choose to be. And until next time, I'll see you on the next one.